Here's something Menards doesn't want you figuring out. Every time you walk past their tool department end caps featuring Performance Tool, Masterforce, and Task Force brands, you're looking at private label products manufactured by contract facilities. Now, you probably think these store brands offer decent value for weekend warriors who don't need professional-grade equipment, right? Not exactly. What's actually inside those bright yellow packages is often substantially worse than comparable name brand tools selling for similar prices. And when you understand the manufacturing reality behind Menards' exclusive brands, you'll never look at that tool department the same way. Stick around, because I'm about to expose exactly which Menards tools fall short compared to what you could buy elsewhere for the same money. Let's start with what happens when a big box store decides to launch private label tools. Most people think stores like Menards design these tools in-house with quality control matching major brands. Nope. Here's the reality. Menards contracts with facilities to produce tools meeting minimum acceptable standards at target price points. The factory gets specifications like basic dimensions and rough performance targets. Then they build to those specs using whatever materials hit the price point. There's no heritage of tool engineering behind Performance Tool. No decades of refinement like Milwaukee or DeWalt invested in their designs. It's contract manufacturing optimized for margin, not longevity. Most Menards exclusive tools fall into one of three categories, and understanding these categories helps you spot the pattern across their entire lineup. Category 1 is the rebadged import. These are generic tools manufactured in bulk overseas that Menards slaps their branding on. The exact same socket set might sell under 6 different names at 6 different retailers. There's nothing inherently wrong with imports, but when you're paying Menards prices for what's essentially the cheapest version available, you're getting played. Category 2 is the simplified alternative. Menards looks at a popular name brand tool, has a factory recreate the basic concept, using different materials and looser tolerances, then sells it as an option. Same basic function, different execution, usually worse. Category 3 is the complete budget build. These are tools engineered from scratch to hit aggressive price targets. Everything from materials to manufacturing processes gets cost optimized. The first major issue shows up in socket sets, and this is where most people get burned first. Menards heavily promotes Performance Tool socket sets as alternatives to Craftsman or Husky. The marketing emphasizes impressive piece count and lifetime warranty coverage. Sounds solid until you actually use them for real work. Testers report the chrome plating on Performance Tool sockets wears noticeably faster than name brands. Put a socket under magnification, and you can see the difference immediately. Thinner plating can lead to chrome flaking inside sockets during use. Those metal flakes get embedded in bolt heads, mar fastener surfaces, and create compounding problems. Some users report sizing inconsistencies within the same set. A socket marked as 12 mm might actually measure slightly different from specification, causing fitment issues. When you're working on anything important, like engine components or brake systems, socket sizing precision matters enormously. An ill-fitting socket rounds fasteners, and suddenly you're dealing with extraction nightmares that wouldn't exist with properly sized tools. Then there's the ratchet mechanism itself, and this is where budget tools really show their limitations. Name brand ratchets use specific tooth counts and sophisticated gear designs refined over decades of engineering investment. More teeth generally means finer control and significantly better performance in tight spaces. Performance. Tool ratchets often feature coarser tooth counts compared to name brands in the same price range. That means larger swing arcs required to advance the ratchet mechanism. In tight engine bays or under dashboards, that extra arc requirement makes jobs substantially harder. or sometimes impossible without removing additional components. But the real concern is durability under actual working conditions. The PAL mechanism inside budget ratchets can use softer metals and significantly looser manufacturing tolerances. After moderate use, some performance tool ratchets develop noticeable slop in the mechanism. The handle rocks slightly before engaging the pawl. Eventually, the mechanism may skip under load, which can strip fasteners or cause hand injuries when the handle suddenly gives way under pressure. This isn't theoretical concern. Search online for performance tool ratchet failures, and you'll find countless examples from frustrated users. Masterforce power tools present different concerns that aren't immediately obvious. Menards positions Masterforce as their premium house brand, comparable to mid-tier name brands. They're priced aggressively, often undercutting DeWalt or Milwaukee by modest amounts on the shelf. The issue isn't always initial performance out of the box. Many Masterforce tools work absolutely fine when brand new. You can drill holes, drive screws, cut materials, whatever you need initially. The real concern is longevity and parts availability down the road when components eventually wear. Some Masterforce models use older motor technology, while quality brands have moved to newer, more efficient brushless designs that last substantially longer. Motor components wear with regular use. Name brands typically sell replacement parts and provide detailed service diagrams online. Masterforce parts availability can be significantly more limited, leaving you with a dead tool and no repair path. The battery platform creates additional concerns that lock you into a problematic ecosystem. Masterforce uses proprietary battery designs that only work with Masterforce tools. You can't mix and match with other brands. This locks you into their ecosystem. Compare that to major brands where battery compatibility across extensive tool lines creates real value. A Milwaukee M18 battery works across hundreds of different tools, from drills to saws to lights to fans. A Masterforce battery works across a more limited selection. And if retailers discontinue battery platforms, which can happen with store brands, you're potentially stuck with orphan tools and no power source. This has occurred with various private label tool lines over the years. Initial savings evaporate when you can't get replacement batteries years later. Task Force hand tools present their own issues that emerge during use. These are Menards' budget import line, specifically positioned for occasional use. The problem is, they're often priced within a few dollars of better alternatives. A Task Force adjustable wrench might cost slightly less than a crescent wrench, but quality differences emerge with use. The adjustment mechanism can use different materials with different tolerances. Users report some models developing slop or slipping under torque. When you're mid-project and your wrench slips or rounds a bolt head, those few dollars in savings feel insignificant. Task Force screwdrivers show similar cost-cutting measures. User reports suggest the tips may wear faster than quality brands. The steel appears softer, which means tips wear faster and cam out more easily. The handles use cheaper plastics that crack under abuse. Drop a Task Force screwdriver onto concrete a few times, and you'll likely see stress cracks forming. The price difference often amounts to $1 or $2 per tool. But when your screwdriver tip wears prematurely or the handle cracks, that minimal savings creates frustration. Let's talk about whether these Menards-exclusive tools are actually cheaper when you account for replacement cycles. That performance tool socket set might cost less initially than a Craftsman set. But if you're replacing components, dealing with rounded fasteners from quality issues, and eventually buying the name brand set anyway, you've spent more overall. Analysis of private label tools often shows questions about lifetime value compared to quality name brands. Now here's where you need to pay attention. because this separates smart tool buyers from people who waste money. When evaluating any Menards-exclusive tool against name brands, check 3 things. First, the warranty details. Menards advertises lifetime warranties on many tools, but read the fine print. The warranty often excludes normal wear items. Name brand warranties typically cover more and have established service networks. Second, parts availability. Before buying any power tool, confirm replacement parts exist and will remain available. Store brands can discontinue product lines. Third, check independent testing. Professional tool reviewers test private label brands alongside name brands. Here's a move most people miss. Menards runs aggressive sales on name brand tools regularly. During major promotional periods, you can often buy Milwaukee, DeWalt, or Makita tools for prices competitive with Menards-exclusive brands. The key is waiting for these sales rather than impulse buying. Professional contractors time tool purchases around known sales cycles. Menards rotates brands through promotional pricing. If you track these cycles, patterns emerge. Let's talk about specific examples. Menards sells Masterforce circular saws positioned against DeWalt and Milwaukee models. Initial testing may show comparable cutting performance. Extended use can reveal differences. Some users report the base plates flexing more under load, affecting cut accuracy. The blade guard mechanism may use components that wear differently. After months of regular use, performance gaps can emerge while comparable name brand saws continue performing. Masterforce air compressors present similar patterns. The specs may look comparable on paper, same tank size, similar horsepower ratings. But components can differ. The pressure switch on budget compressors may use different materials. The check valve can show varying durability. These aren't always catastrophic failures. They can be gradual performance reductions that affect efficiency. Performance tool toolboxes might show the clearest differences. The gauge of steel used in budget boxes can be measurably thinner. The drawer slides may use different bearing designs with more plastic components. The locking mechanisms can feel different and develop problems faster. For something you'll use daily and load with expensive tools, durability differences matter. The price difference between performance tool and quality alternatives often amounts to modest sums. Spread that cost over years of use, and the premium for quality becomes minimal. But here's something that'll change how you think about tool shopping at Menards. Their exclusive brands aren't always cheaper, even before accounting for quality differences. Price comparisons show Menards often prices performance tool and Masterforce products within modest percentages of name brand equivalents. That narrow gap makes quality compromises questionable. And when Menards runs their rebate promotions, the effective price of name brands often drops significantly. Smart shoppers stack Menards rebates with manufacturer promotions. Here's another angle most people sleep on. Menards' rebate system, while requiring processing, can turn name brand purchases into legitimate deals. When they run rebate events combined with manufacturer rebates on specific brands, you're looking at significant effective discounts. A Milwaukee tool that's already competitively priced might end up substantially cheaper than Masterforce after rebates process. The catch is, you've got to actually submit the rebates. Most people don't bother, which is what retailers count on. Now let's address the biggest misconception about Menards tool brands. People assume the lifetime warranty compensates for quality shortcomings. Here's reality. Warranty claims require time and effort, and you've got to transport the failed tool back to the store, deal with customer service, potentially wait for replacements. For a professional who needs tools daily, that downtime costs money. When your ratchet breaks mid-project, the lifetime warranty doesn't help you finish today's work. This is where quality brands justify their premiums. Tools that don't break don't need warranty service. There's also a psychological element to buying budget tools. When you buy a Masterforce drill instead of a Milwaukee, you're making a compromise. Somewhere in the back of your mind, you know it's not the premium option. That knowledge affects how you use the tool. You baby it slightly, maybe avoid the toughest jobs. Name brand tools often get used harder and more effectively because there's no nagging doubt about capability. Let me tell you about something that illustrates why this matters. Someone needed a complete socket set for automotive work. They were comparing a performance tool set to a Tecton set. The performance tool set had more pieces and cost slightly less. They bought it based on piece count. Within months, they dealt with multiple issues and constant frustration. They ended up buying the quality set anyway, which performed flawlessly for years. Total cost ended up higher because the first purchase was wasted money. Here's the final piece that ties everything together. Most people approach tool buying based on immediate price. They see Masterforce priced lower than DeWalt and make the obvious choice. But smart buyers calculate cost per year of service. If a DeWalt drill costs more initially, but lasts substantially longer than a Masterforce, the DeWalt is cheaper annually. When you start viewing tools as long-term investments rather than one-time purchases, the entire store-exclusive brand strategy changes. So here's your action plan. First, stop buying Menards-exclusive tool brands on impulse. Make a list of what you actually need, then research comparisons between store brands and quality alternatives. Second, track Menards' rebate cycles and sale patterns. Time your name brand purchases around maximum discount periods. Third, read independent reviews from professional tool testers. They measure performance objectively and reveal quality gaps. Fourth, calculate total ownership cost, including likely replacement cycles. Fifth, for critical tools you'll use frequently, consider skipping the store brands entirely. The tool industry wants you believing private label brands offer comparable quality at lower prices. Marketing emphasizes warranties and piece counts while downplaying material quality and manufacturing precision. But when you understand what actually goes into contract manufactured store brands, questions emerge. Every single day, people buy Menards-exclusive tools thinking they're getting decent deals. Meanwhile, smart buyers who understand tool quality build workshops full of reliable equipment by strategically buying name brands at the right times. And let's talk about specific strategies that separate casual shoppers from smart tool buyers. First, understand that price matching exists. Menards will match competitor pricing on identical items. If you find a Milwaukee drill cheaper at Home Depot, Menards will typically match it. This lets you buy name brands at Menards and collect their rebates while getting competitive base pricing. Second, recognize that Menards-exclusive brands may serve a purpose for some buyers, but that purpose is narrow. If you need a tool for a single project you'll likely never use again, budget options might be adequate. That's different from building a tool collection for ongoing use. Third, understand that professional reviews exist for almost every tool category. Project Farm, Torque Test Channel, and other creators test tools objectively with measurable results. They compare Performance Tool and Masterforce directly against name brands. Watch these comparisons before making purchases. Fourth, join online communities focused on tool quality. Forums share real-world experiences with different brands. You'll find posts from people who bought Menards-exclusive brands and their experiences. You'll also find recommendations for legitimate deals on quality tools. Fifth, consider used name brand tools over new store brands. A used Milwaukee or DeWalt tool that's been maintained often outperforms brand new budget equipment. Facebook Marketplace regularly has quality tools at prices competitive with new private label alternatives. Sixth, understand battery platform economics before committing to any cordless system. If you buy into proprietary batteries, you're locked into limited options. If you buy into Milwaukee M18, DeWalt 20 volts, or Makita 18 volts platforms, you're accessing hundreds of tools with more certain long-term battery availability. Seventh, recognize that tool sales follow predictable patterns. Major holidays trigger aggressive tool promotions. Buying name brands during these windows often beats buying store brands at regular prices. Professional contractors schedule tool purchases around these events specifically. Eighth, understand that some tool categories matter more than others. Socket sets, wrenches, and screwdrivers get used constantly and need to withstand abuse. Buying quality in these categories pays immediate dividends. Specialty tools you'll rarely use might tolerate different quality levels. Ninth, consider that Menards' true value isn't necessarily in their exclusive brands, but in their selection of name brands and their rebate system. When you shop Menards strategically for Milwaukee, DeWalt, and Makita during rebate periods, you're accessing value. 10th, factor in the cost of failed projects and wasted time. When a budget ratchet breaks mid-repair, you're stopping work, driving to the store, and losing hours. When a socket rounds a bolt head, you're extracting a damaged fastener instead of simply removing it. These time costs can dwarf initial price savings. The psychology of retail is designed to make store brands look like smart compromises. Everything from packaging to shelf placement positions, private label tools, as sensible choices for budget-conscious buyers. But when you examine actual tool quality and long-term value, the compromise reveals itself. You're potentially giving up substantial performance and longevity to save modest amounts. Most shoppers will never figure this out. They'll keep buying Performance Tool and Master Force, dealing with whatever issues arise. Meanwhile, you're building a workshop with equipment that performs reliably because you understand the difference between marketing and actual reality.